রোহিত শর্মাকে কি আদৌ কলকাতা নাইট রাইডার্সের হয়ে খেলতে দেখা যাবে? প্রাক্তন মুম্বাই ইন্ডিয়ান্স অধিনায়কের সঙ্গে KKR এর সহকারী কোচ অভিষেক নায়ারের কথোপকথনের ভাইরাল ভিডিওটির পর যে জল্পনা ছিল তুঙ্গে, কিন্তু সেই সমস্ত জল্পনাকে জলে ঢেলে দিলেন স্বয়ং KKR সিইও ভেঙ্কি মাইসোর। রেড স্পোর্টসের এডিটর ইন চিফ বরিয়া মজুমদারকে দেওয়া একান্ত সাক্ষাৎকারে ভেঙ্কি জানালেন, এটা নিছকই একটা ঘটনা যেটি ফুলিয়ে ফাঁপিয়ে বড় করে দেখানো হচ্ছে সোশ্যাল মিডিয়াতে।
I think it's I didn't even know about it. You know, some routine, storm in a teacup. I think there's nothing to it. So I think it was a conversation. They are good friends from God knows how long. So somebody has done something there just to create some mischief, I think. But I don't think there was anything. I spoke with both of them. They were talking about something else, and it was kind of some people have too much time on their hands. That's all I can say. So
চলতি IPL 19 পয়েন্ট নিয়ে শীর্ষস্থান দখল করে আছেন শ্রেয়াস আইয়াররা। সোমবার গুজরাট টাইটান্স ম্যাচটি বৃষ্টিতে ভেস্তে যাওয়ায় প্রথম দুয়ে থাকা এক প্রকার সুনিশ্চিত কলকাতার। দলের ধারাবাহিক ভালো পারফরমেন্স নিয়ে কি বলছেন KKR সিইও?
God has been kind, and the support we have received from our fans, well-wishers like you, I think all of that is very, very gratifying and great to be in this position. But as we remind ourselves, a lot of cricket left, so we're not taking anything for granted. But no, I think when you ask me what have we done right, this T20 format is such that there's hardly been much of a tinkering or change in our team. As you know, in the auction we did a little bit, of course. The big buy that we had and whatnot, we can talk about that. But I think it's just sometimes it's just a little bit of changes to some of the combinations. Gautam coming in definitely has made a big difference in terms of just the energy and the intensity and the will to win that he brings. And Chandu has worked very hard last year to get the team to kind of where he wanted it to be. So, as they say, God willing, hopefully the stars are aligning.
নাইট রাইডার্স এই মরশুমে সাফল্যের অন্যতম কারণ হলো সুনীল নারিনের অনবদ্য ফর্ম। 2012-তে সুনীল নারিনকে যখন মিস্ট্রি স্পিনার হিসেবে IPL মিনি অকশন থেকে তুলেছিল KKR, তখন অনেকেই ভুরু কুঁচকে ছিলেন। গত এক দশকেরও বেশি নাইট রাইডার্স পরিবারের সদস্য হয়ে উঠেছেন নারিন।
Story goes back to 2012 auction, the mini auction, when nobody had seen much of him. Actually, there were hardly too many franchises bidding for him. It was just, I think, us and Mumbai who were fighting for him a little bit. We had seen him, through our affinity and our closeness to Trinidad and Tobago, and eventually we have that franchise there. But it's been an incredible story because first and foremost, he's one of those guys who is most unassuming. He has probably been the IPL player of since 2012. He's done everything you've asked him to do, but hardly people speak enough about him, to be honest. But he's happy with that because he's a very low profile guy. And I always jokingly tell him when I meet him in Trinidad during our Trinbago Night Rider campaign, he's so animated and he's so conversational and vocal. I said, what happens to you when you come back to Trinidad and the water here? But when you come to IPL, it's like monosyllables, one word, one sentence here and there. He's one of the most unassuming champions that you'll ever come across. Terrific cricketing mind, knows his game, knows the game, and absolutely is a very practical type of a guy. But most important is the relationship that built up between Night Riders and him. And he wears, literally when the logo is there on his chest, he's one of those guys you can honestly say he genuinely means it, and he doesn't want to wear any other colors. He gets all kinds of offers, but he plays for only our franchise. And I think he's also understood that he has become part of the family for us from a very early stage. And when he went through difficult times, we didn't really think that we were going out of the way to do this and do that, because, what would you do to a family member? If they're part of your family, we did what we thought was absolutely the right thing. We didn't think twice. I was jokingly telling somebody that I've probably gone more to testing centers than any other CEO with him because of what he has been put through. But to his credit, to come back and first of all, remodel his action. He's primarily a bowling all-rounder, as he puts it in post-match conversations. And so he is passionate about his bowling. He's probably one of the most skilled guys who has come out. But usually when these types of things happen, people find it very difficult to bounce back from that, when they remodel their action and do those types of things. But he has done it. He's come back and he's gotten better than he probably was, if that's possible. But then the batting side to him has made him put him in a completely different zone altogether. We knew his talent, and he had opened for us, and he had done different interesting things for us in 2016-17 times. But this is a different level. So God willing, may this continue.
মূলত বোলিং অলরাউন্ডার হলেও চলতি আইপিএলে ব্যাট হাতে সবাইকে অবাক করেছেন নারিন। 12 ম্যাচে 461 রান করে এই মুহূর্তে সর্বোচ্চ রান সংগ্রাহকের তালিকায় 7 নম্বরে আছেন তিনি। স্ট্রাইক রেট প্রায় 180। ফিল সল্টের সঙ্গে ওপেন করতে নেমে ঝড় তুলেছেন পাওয়ার প্লেতে। দলের মেন্টর গৌতম গম্ভীরের সঙ্গে নারিনকেও কৃতিত্ব দিতে চান ভেঙ্কি মাইসোর।
I think if everybody would admit that, I think this has been a very pleasant surprise for everyone, to be honest. I think the call to make him open, I think that push definitely came from Gautam, no doubt about it. Because, I think practically speaking, we realized that with his type of skills, him coming down the order really makes there's no impact there, there's no difference there. And that's what has happened over the last maybe 2-3 years. And he was a reluctant batter, I must say, in terms of going up the order. But I think the call that was taken was, yes, let's see if we can get some momentum up front. And with Phil Salt coming in as well, and just one of those things that just happened. But I don't think anybody expected. I think the expectation was that he'll go in and he'll be given the freedom to go and play his natural game and try and get us off to a good start. And then we have depth in our Indian batting, and then the finisher roles who are there. So we'll take it from their type of mindset. But I think he is, I must say, if I were to put my finger on it, I would say, well, the call was taken, but it is all Sunil Narayan's genius. This guy, as I told you, his cricketing acumen is unbelievable. So he has done some things with his batting. I'm not an expert to talk about what it is. We talk about it and say, he's so still at the crease, and, he's sort of so focused. You can see when the camera focuses on his face, he seems like he wants to get that big score. And really, it's not just hitting 20 and 8 balls and then getting out and going. So it's his cricketing genius. He knows his game, and we knew the talent that he had with the bat, just his bat swing, his ability to time, and particularly against spin. It's come together. So seriously, knock on wood.
প্রাক্তন নায়ক গৌতম গম্ভীরকে মেন্টর হিসেবে ফিরিয়ে এনেছিল কেকেআর। বলা বাহুল্য, গম্ভীরের প্রত্যাবর্তনে পুরো কেকেআর দলটারই মানসিকতা বদলে গেছে। গম্ভীর আসাতে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ সিদ্ধান্তগুলি নেওয়ার সময় ধারাবাহিকতাও দেখা দিয়েছে।
Even when we brought Chandu on board, the thing that kind of in my conversations with him, what impressed me really was his deep desire to win. It's there. And in whatever you touch and wherever you step in, there is that deep desire and commitment to win. And then from there flows the thought process around preparation. And that is Chandu. And so he did a lot. Last year was his first season. He was also coming to terms with lots of different things when it comes to IPL, the schedule, how fast the games come, diversity among players and whatnot. I think in many ways, Chandu and Gautam are similar, because they're type A personalities, and, that desire to win. And I think additionally, what Gautam brings is just his track record in IPL, and his knowledge and his acumen. And so I think the think tank got significantly stronger. There's no doubt about it. And I think decision making also, this is a very important aspect of it, because you can kind of second guess yourself, and then you have so many players sitting on the bench, and you change this and you change that. And when things are going well, also you think, can we do this? And when things are not going well, though, you definitely want to change. I think there's been some consistency and commitment to the decisions that have been made, and therefore there's not a lot of changes. In fact, I think I saw a chart the other day which showed for a change that we are a team that is ranking number one in terms of the least number
Yes.
of changes made to the personnel, which just shows that you put the team together, you back it, and basically say we are committed, go for it. That's kind of how, and so both of them combined really, really well.
24,75,00,000 টাকা দিয়ে মিচেল স্টার্ককে দলে নেওয়ার সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়ে মুখ খুলেছেন ভেঙ্কি। তার মতে প্লে অফের মতো গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ম্যাচগুলিতে স্টার্কের অভিজ্ঞতা অনেক কাজে আসবে।
As you rightly put it, I think it just flows from the thought process of saying that, whoever we have put on the park, whoever's in our squad, we back them to the hilt. And he's a champion player, he's a champion bowler. And we have no doubt in our mind that, I mean, you saw the spell that he bowled against Mumbai. We had not beaten Mumbai at all, so it was well worth it if you ask me. But crunch games, which are coming up, and you need experience and you need people who have been there, who have done that, and that's kind of what he brings to the table. When it comes to money, as Boria, this is a philosophy that this is my 14th season, by the way, and I've maintained this from day one, and I've said this repeatedly. The moment you leave the auction, we don't talk money at all. And by the way, the player never asked for us to
Exactly.
keep raising the parrot.
Exactly. I've
We
said that
raised
multiple
it, and we don't talk in our environment. A 20 lakh player, 24.75 crore player is treated the same way. And we don't talk money because that's irrelevant as far as we're concerned. It is more about we needed a player of his caliber and his skills in our setup. So, which is why we went strongly. There were 9 other players that we picked who luckily we got all of them at base price, which allowed us to use the money for the skill sets that we wanted. So I think that's something that I appreciate from our leadership and our think tank as well, is that when you back a player and that's it. There's no question about second guessing yourself, and let the chips fall as they may.
গত মরশুমে চোটের কারণে খেলতে পারেননি অধিনায়ক শ্রেয়াস আইয়ার। এই মরশুমে শ্রেয়াসের নেতৃত্ব বেশ প্রশংসিত, যেভাবে তিনি মাঠের সিদ্ধান্তগুলি নিয়েছেন। ব্যাটে তেমন রান না পেলেও শ্রেয়াসের অধিনায়কত্ব নিয়ে খুশি দলের সিইও।
I couldn't sort of speak enough about it, to be honest, because I think we should also recognize last year he was out injured. He was not even in the IPL, and the guy went through a tough time, and we were with him on all of those aspects of what he went through, tried to help him with alternative medicine and whatnot, but eventually he did need surgery, went through that. And the rehab part of it, for athletes who have been through that, will realize, even I went through something small for my shoulder recently, you realize it's so tough and it's so boring, but you have to do it. And then the athlete is sitting there and saying, oh my God, I should be there playing, and I'm not. And but he handled himself brilliantly. And I think this season, we've spoken about Chandu and Gautam and whatnot, but I tell you, it's a lot to do with Shreyas. The way he has handled the team, tactically, how he has handled it. I'm sure he would probably would have liked to have more runs under his belt, but that's not affected his captaincy in any shape or form. He's come and played some crucial knocks, selfless type of batting, dropping himself lower in the order depending on match situation and all that. He's been brilliant off the field as well. I think he's got the full backing respect of the players, and they love him because of his leadership style, very uncomplicated, transparent, and confident. So, and when it comes to decision making, I'd heard this line from somebody years ago, and that typifies him. He says, right or wrong, I'm never in doubt. So that's what you need. Decision making is you're never going to get all the decisions right, but at least you're confident of whatever decision you're taking. And so sometimes you sit down there and he makes some changes, and you're like, oh, he's bringing this guy on at this point, and it works. And you're saying that's why he's captain, and that's his instinct. And what do we know? And so he's been brilliant. So we couldn't be happier about Shreyas.
চলতি মরশুমে ইডেনে কেকেআর প্রতিটি ম্যাচে দর্শক সমাগম ছিল চোখে পড়ার মতো। সমর্থকদের উদ্দেশ্যে ভেঙ্কির বার্তা, এভাবেই থাকুন দলের পাশে।
No, I think we feel very fortunate and very thankful because the relationship that a franchise builds with its fans, and I've had visiting teams make the same comment, purple and gold, and sea of purple and gold. They may come in their own versions of it, whatever it is, bandanas and shirts and we have flags and we have t-shirts and all those types of things that we go out of the way to do. But those are smaller things. But ultimately, it's just the passion and the love they have for the franchise. And this is something that we set out to build, when we started. Basically, my own outlook towards franchise building was to say, listen, I mean, the fans should embrace the franchise. It's the love for night riders. And if you build it around a player, couple of players, then you have different challenges in terms of, what happens when that player says, calls time. So it's been a longer road from that perspective. And we do little things just to take care of our fans, to give you a small this thing, the other day it was raining. And we have always over the years had this nor'wester rains in Calcutta, as you know. And so we had this thing saying that, listen, everybody is taking shelter. So there should be some room for for the fans to take shelter, because when it's raining, they're not going to sit in the open. But when they come back, the seats are all wet. So we have little things like, we have ushers there with towels to wipe the seat. Small thing, it doesn't take a lot, but just let them go and realize that we've done something, a little thing there for them. And extra toilets that you put, particularly ladies and whatnot. I mean, you want them to be feeling comfortable when they come, because they're making such an effort to come there, as you said, in the heat and serpentine lines. When the thing that gratifies me the most when I drive up from ITC Shona to Eden on match day is starting from Victoria Memorial, you start seeing the serpentine lines there, everyone in purple and gold, and some of them, for whatever reason, my kids get a kick out of this. They're saying, "Why are they waving at you?" I said, I think they know who I am when they wave at me, and I'm thankful to them. But that's the relationship that's been built, and and we made a commitment saying that, I mean, obviously SRK coming makes it so much more special, and he loves coming, but he can't come for all the games. And I said, it can't. The crowd coming or not coming can't depend on whether he comes or doesn't come. So we have insulated that part of it. So we fill up the stadium game after game, and and it's been happening over the last few years. And I know they were very disappointed during COVID times that there were no games and all that, but it's been fantastic. And I think from a result standpoint, my sense always has been that the fans really want a team that they know is competing. Everyone wants to win the championship. All the 10 teams are going at it hard, as you know. And when we won the first championship in 2012, someone asked me, how does it feel? I said, having won the first one, you know how difficult it is to win it. And so I said, you can't take anything for granted, but you want to be competitive every time you're out there. That's what I tell the team. Whenever I have a chance to say something, which I don't do too much of, but I say, listen, I mean, this has to be for the fans, because they're making that effort and coming. They just need they need to see that everybody is giving their 100%. And that's all the think tank is also asking. We think we have assemble the best team, put it out there, put in the effort, and then the fans are happy.